Okay, awesome. Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great Monday. I am so excited about this Zoom. My sweet friends, Dana Benson and Chris Benson, have joined us today. And I met Dana and Chris at my very first Diamond meeting at convention. It was my very first convention to be at. And I just happened to sit. I was so nervous and so intimidated to be in this meeting. And I was so quiet and shy. And I ended up sitting by Chris and Dana. And they have just become very, very sweet and special friends to me. I love getting to see them and, do this Plexus thing with them. And they are just precious to me. So Dana is going to start. Dana is Diamond and Chris is Sapphire. So they are a rock star Plexus household. And Dana is going to start by telling their story and how they started with Plexus and what Plexus has done with them. And I just want to remind everyone, Dana's going to tell us her whole story because it's amazing. Just remember that we can't post medical claims on Facebook or any other site. So, but Dana's going to give us the lowdown. So anyways, go ahead, Dana.
I appreciate that. Beth, you were such a wonderful person, and you were just so sweet. I just wanted to tell you that right now. I just love you to death. Okay, before I started Plexus, I worked at Big Lots as a furniture manager, and before that, I worked at Circuit City. It's a warehouse. And I remember whenever I'd go to work, I could never go to the bathroom. So I was one of those women, I carried milk of magnesia around with me, and I'd even carry it to work. So the people knew me as a milk of magnesia woman. I did not care because I stayed so constipated that I had to try to do something to try to relieve myself because I lived in pain so much for so long. And then I started working at Big Lots, and Lori, my upline, would come in there, and this is the funniest thing because she came in there and would talk to me about Plexus a little bit, but I wasn't interested. I just thought, my gosh, I don't want to hear this. Go on, Lori, I love you, but I don't want to hear it. And it took her about 5 times to convince me, but she had a friend with her that was really loud and talked about it. So I thought, okay, I need to listen to this because Lori talked about her toe. And I was like, I've got a toe just like that. Okay, I need to listen to this. So I asked Lori to come over to my house. And it was so funny because if you could have seen us, a bug on the wall, she was showing me her toe and I was showing her my toe, what it looked like. And then she showed me a picture of what her toe used to look like. And we're just sitting there in my living room and laughing because we're sitting here sharing each other's feet, And she's telling me about how Plexus has helped her with her toe and other things. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try this, and I'll sign up as an ambassador so that I can get it the cheapest that I could. Because Chris and I lived paycheck to paycheck, and if we wanted to do something, we had to save money to be able to do the extra things that we wanted to do. And so I signed up as an ambassador, and my thought was, I'm going to prove her wrong that it doesn't work. Okay. So that way I'll sign up, get it the cheapest, and I can turn off, and so I got it in and I started taking it. And I didn't notice a lot about my feet at first, but I've got diverticulitis and I used to have colitis, and I'll tell you about that here in just a second. But the diverticulitis, my stomach stayed in pain. Just literally some days I would sleep like in a fetal position because I hurt so bad. And I've been in the hospital a few times, and I had 3 colonoscopies. And every time that I had a colonoscopy, they would have to take polyps out. And that's whenever they told me I had a diverticulitis, the first time. And then the second one that I had more polyps, big polyps. And they told me that I had colitis. And then the third one that I had, everything was real bad, and I had more polyps, but they said that they were even bigger. Okay, so you can imagine, can't go to the bathroom, your stomach in excruciating pain. And I lived with this almost my whole life, staying constipated. Okay, well, I just had a colonoscopy, I think it's 3 weeks ago. And let me tell you, and I haven't had one since before Plexus. Okay, so this was the first one that I've had since I've been doing Plexus. And whenever I went to them to tell me what was, how I was doing and all this, I had no polyps. My diverticulitis, the inflammation was good. There was nothing there. And my colitis is gone. And it was amazing to me. Can you imagine you live with this your whole life, and then you go and they tell you this? I'm going to start crying because makes me so happy to know that I don't have to deal with that anymore. And I'm telling you, it is our Plexus products, because I've tried so many different things and it never helped me. Okay. And then on top of that, I found out 2 years ago that I have MS. And the way that I found this out is because I quit taking my Plexus for a couple of days because I was not feeling right. And so I stopped taking it and I was in bed. And then I woke up one morning and I couldn't walk or talk. I couldn't move my arms, anything. So, I mean, I was really scared because I thought, oh my gosh, what could this be? And, you know, my sister's a nurse. She thought that I had a stroke. So we rushed to OU Medical Center, and that's when they told me that I have MS. And I had to take steroid IVs for 5 days to be able and also do physical therapy to be able to use my legs and my hands and everything again. So I started taking the Ease and the Nerve Health immediately because Chris, you know, contacted Dr. Harris, and he's the one that told us the loading dose of what to take with this. So I started taking that, and I went and had an MRI 6 months later, and they told me that my lesions have gotten smaller and my inflammation has gone down on my spine. So, you know, I just truly, truly believe in our Plexus products. And the next MRI that I had, they told me that it was even better than the time before. So I'm really excited about the MRI that I'm going to have in August, because I cannot wait for them to tell me that it's even better than the time before. So, guys, I truly, truly believe in our products. And if you know anybody that has diverticulitis, and I've learned that there's a lot of people that have it. I did not realize it. I felt like I was alone, you know, and having this, being constipated and stuff. But since doing Plexus, I'm learning there are so many people that live with this. So if you know somebody that, you know, has diverticulitis, colitis, IBS, anything like that, make sure that you share with them our Plexus products, because they are amazing. And MS, I mean, I truly, truly believe in our products, and I know that this is what has helped me. I'm not saying that it's cured anything, but it has helped me. And my neurologist even said for me to keep taking our products. I took everything to her, and she said there's nothing in there that's going to hurt me but help me. So anyway, thank you all for listening to me.
Hey, Dana, before Chris goes, tell us about where you live and how many Plexus schools are around where you live. Because we have lots of people that live in small towns on the Zoom that I'm looking at, and so I want you to be an encouragement to them for that.
Yes, there is. We live in Long Grove, which is 5 miles from Ardmore, and there is 11 Joules here. And yes, it's a small place.
Yeah, how many people do you think live there?
I think maybe 30,000
in Ardmore.
25, 30,000 in Ardmore. Yeah. So in Long Grove,
people live outside a little bit, right?
Yeah, in Long Grove there may be 5,000.
Yeah. So it's a little town. So
yeah, it is a small town. Yeah. So there's 11 Joules in this area.
Yes. Yes. So
yeah, it's possible. It doesn't matter how small it is.
I said it is not saturated, right?
No, you know, we talk to people all the time, and it's funny how you think that it's saturated, but there is still so many people that have not heard of Plexus, because there's still so many people that don't have Facebook. You think everybody's got Facebook, but they really don't.
Is that Texas?
Huh? Somebody is not muted. Can you make sure and mute yourself if you don't mind, please? Thank you.
I just wondered if it was in Texas.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was background noise. Go ahead, Dana.
Is Plexus in Texas?
No, your town.
Oh, yes, I do have team in Texas. Yes. But no, this is in Oklahoma. Yes.
Oklahoma. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. All righty. So I love listening to her tell about her story, because her health has been changed. If you haven't watched my video today, go over there and watch my video, because she is truly a life that has been changed in so many different ways.
And Beth, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm so sorry, but can I tell this right fast?
Yes.
The third colonoscopy that I had, it was so bad that they were wanting to resection my colon. And it's just amazing to me, because I was so scared about it. And then that, you know, about a week later is whenever I started Plexus, but, you know, we didn't think anything about it helping with anything, you know, or so. And, you know, like I said, the last colonoscopy I had, they told me that I'm good. So it's just amazing to me how before they were wanting to resection my colon, and now they told me I'm good.
It's amazing. Plexus works, that's for sure. Okay, so now we're going to listen and we're going to get to hear from her husband, Chris. Chris is like the rock star at getting people to meetings. And so remember what we just said about where they live. It's a small area, and there's lots of jewels there in that small area. Most of them live outside of Ardmore. And so Chris did a video on this a while back. But a lot of people, one of the biggest questions I hear, and Ariel probably too, is how do you get people to meetings? And what do I always say? I say, get yourself off Facebook and start calling people and talking to people in person. So Chris is going to tell us about how he gets the people to meetings. And if y'all have questions during this, go on down to the chat and type them, and we'll answer them at the end. So Chris, thank you both for being on here. Y'all know I'm so excited. I've been so excited about this Zoom. But so Chris, let us hear it. How many did you get? 32?
32, yep.
32 people to a meeting. So he's going to tell us how he did that.
First of all, thanks for having us on, Beth.
Absolutely. And Ariel too. Ariel and I do our Zooms together every week.
Okay, hi Ariel. You guys bear with me because I've just got something I wrote out here, and I'm going to kind of read it. So hopefully it doesn't sound bad. How many of us have been to meetings or done opportunity meetings where it is nothing but ambassadors? Personally, I have been to a bunch of opportunity meetings. I love hearing all the testimonies and watching how the host delivers the message, and I was really re-energized. But most of those meetings, I didn't do my part to get guests to come with me. My wife Dana and I have done a lot of meetings together in a lot of places, and I'll just tell you, I think others on this call will agree that it's a bit deflating to the presenter if the crowd is just all ambassadors. Their only goal in hosting that meeting is to help their team and other teams grow their business. If the opportunity meeting is all ambassadors, that goal hasn't got a chance. Opportunity meetings are mainly for guests, folks, not ambassadors. You should always accompany your guest, obviously, but again, just don't go alone. If you are making the effort to go to an opportunity meeting, take the extra step and do something and do some serious inviting. Don't waste the opportunity. I thought about it this way, and let me go back up just a little bit here. Sonia Dudley was in Ardmore about a year and a half, a little over a year ago, I think. And this is the meeting I'm talking about, okay? I thought about it this way. If Sonia Dudley is going to travel halfway across the country to do a meeting in my city, I owe it to myself and her to really put some effort into inviting. So this is what I did. Okay, so I set myself a goal of hand delivering in person 100 flyers that I had printed to a meeting that Sonia Dudley put on in Ardmore back in November. First, I began with making a list. I separated out all my Facebook friends, plexus and non-plexus, and surprisingly, there was about 300 non-plexus. From that group, I just made a list of the ones that were within driving distance of Ardmore, which ended up being about 200. I went through all the numbers in my phone, added those who weren't on Facebook. There were a ton of people in my phone who I am not friends with on Facebook, also a big surprise. I thought of a few more along the way, and by the time I was done, I had a list of about 250 people. So then, of that 250, I ranked them all 1 through 5 on who I thought I had the best shot at getting to the meeting. I then ordered the meeting flyers just on Facebook from SJ Plexus, actually, and had them printed at Staples. I also ordered 50 oversized postcards. Next, while it was very time-consuming, it was also very necessary for my plan to get off the ground. I spent a couple days getting numbers, addresses, sending Facebook messages and texts asking for info so I could track people down to deliver the flyer. When I asked for phone and address, I would only tell them that I was needing to get an invitation to them, and I'd like to hand it to them. I asked them what would be the best time and place to do that. Very few people even asked me what the invitation was for. And the ones that did, I would just tell them it was for a Plexus meeting, and that I was trying to, and this part of it I thought was pretty important. I was trying to win a contest to see who could get the most people there to get the most guests to this meeting. Because you guys all know every meeting that you go to, you know, they always say, who brought the most guests, you know, and that's really what I had in my mind. This part of it actually turned out to be surprisingly fun. I sort of felt like, wait a minute, I lost my spot there, sorry. Okay, this part of it actually turned out to be surprisingly fun. It was sort of like being a private eye or detective trying to track down all their info and track the people down to hand deliver the flyers. I spent about 6 days, probably about 35, 40 hours delivering and trying to get some more contact information as I went. I then got the idea to have another business card printed at Staples offering all attendees a gift just for attending that meeting. And I just stapled these, I just had little business cards made saying, you know, if you attend, you get this free gift. And what I did was bought and this part isn't probably duplicatable for everybody, but you can offer whatever you want to. But I offered them a little gift card if they'd come to the meeting. And I attached it to the flyer when I handed it to them. When I handed out the flyers, I took this approach. Hello, I was hoping you could help me out with something. The company that I work for is having a contest to see who can get the most guests to this meeting, and I'd really like to win it, which technically I didn't consider to be a lie since almost all meetings, what I just said a while ago, they always say that. Ironically, Sonia didn't say that at this one. Yeah. I also said, I truly believe if you go, you will enjoy hearing about our company and products, and you'll hear a lot of great testimonies. I always mentioned the gift I was throwing in just to sweeten the pot and how much I wanted to win the contest. I was very surprised that about 90% of the folks told me they would be there, and that is why I wanted to hand deliver it to them. I figured my chances of them going were much higher if they looked me in the eye and told me they would be there. After I'd given out the first 50, the ones I thought I had the best shot of attending, I mailed those 50 a postcard that they should have received 2 days before the meeting. The day before and the day of, I sent out a reminder text or a message to everyone I had given a flyer to also. I actually ended up falling short of my goal of handing out 100. I finished with 83 people I tracked down and hand delivered. The final result of that was that I had 32 guests show up at the meeting, which is 38% success rate. Honestly, I figured it would be about 20, so I was ecstatic. Since that meeting, of the 32, 3 became ambassadors, 4 became preferred customers, 3 became retail customers. One of the preferreds just signed up last month, and the meeting, well, this document's a little old, but they just signed up, and the meeting was 7 months ago. So here's what I learned from the whole process. Number one, I had a whole lot more non-Plexus friends than I thought, roughly 300. Number two, face-to-face conversation is worth 10 to 1 what an email, text, or Facebook conversation is. I can't stress this one enough. From my experience, you are wasting your time by posting flyers all over town, putting them in newspapers, because I did all this, passing them out at stores, and placing on windshields to people who don't know you. Hand delivering is the ticket. Inviting someone to a meeting gives you a great excuse to bring up Plexus, and about half the people I gave the invitation to asked me questions about it. Easy way to get a conversation started. Fourth thing I learned, I had out of those 83 flyers that I passed out, I had one somewhat negative experience while I was talking to folks. I didn't get any dirty looks, sarcastic remarks, or even feel like I was bugging anyone except 1 out of 83. This was my biggest fear, going into it. 5, and at least 90% of the conversations, either talking to that person made me think of someone I hadn't thought of, or that person brought up someone that I hadn't thought of to add to my list. Number 6, I drove around Lone Grove, Ardmore, and Dixon. Just by having it on my mind while driving, I thought of people to add to the list. Just because I saw places that have given me service, or I've given them, or I've given them my business, such as a dentist office, insurance agents, places I've worked, etc., etc. 7, it made me realize that I have to find creative ways to cultivate old and new relationships. Some of those folks I hadn't seen or spoken to in years. Number 8, what Beth alluded to earlier, our area is not saturated, and yours is not either. There are 11 Jewels that live in this county, and I would say half the people I handed flyers to had never been talked to about Plexus. Number 9, if I would have ordered some extra 3 days in catalogs, it would have made for an even better experience. Always be prepared. Keep them with you at all times. Number 10, and this one is kind of funny. A lot of the ones that showed up, I didn't think would, and the ones I just knew would be there, my closer friends, didn't come. So don't prejudge, just like you wouldn't prejudge about talking to somebody about Plexus. 11, if you choose to offer a free gift, no matter what it is, don't bring it to the meeting. This is also very important. Don't bring it to the meeting. Give it to them at a later date, because that gives you a great excuse to follow up with them later. Number 12, I won't be scared to do this again. I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of work, but it was worth it, and it wasn't near as hard as what I thought it would be. And last but not least, the bottom line is meetings are absolutely the best and easiest way to introduce someone to the business. So my thought was, Sonia Dudley is coming to town, and I'm going to do whatever I have to get a bunch of guests to that meeting. My free gift I offered was a gift card to a restaurant, but I don't think that is what got them there. I think it was more, hey, do me a favor, I really want to win this contest angle. And I'll leave you with this final thought. There were roughly 250 ambassadors at the training meeting that preceded the opportunity meeting that morning. Imagine if all 250 ambassadors made it their goal to pass out just 10 flyers. If their success rate was 30%, and again, mine was 38, there would have been 750 guests at that opportunity meeting. This is the method of inviting that really worked well for me, but maybe yours is different. Maybe it's phone calls, mail outs, figure out what the best method is and make it happen. And so I encourage all of you from this day forward, don't go to an opportunity meeting alone. Bring a guest.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's right. That's awesome. Can you imagine getting 32 people to a meeting? That is absolutely amazing, right? I mean, so awesome. Hey, Chris, how far in advance did you start passing out the flyers? Do you remember?
I think probably 2 weeks to 10 days.
Okay.
In that area, because if you start too early, they're going to forget about it.
Right. Yeah. And then I love that you had the postcards done too to send to them 2 days before so they remember. But one more question. How many meetings do you guys do a month? Was one question.
Well, honestly, we haven't here lately. We haven't done many at all. Now, there for a while, we were doing, I'd say, 2 or 3 a month.
Yeah. 4, Dana. Yeah. And then the other question was, did you build your team mainly off of Facebook?
No.
Dana's saying yes, and Chris is saying
Dana did. Dana did, but that wasn't the case for
Diamond
me.
Sapphire, guys. I mean, that's huge, right? Yeah.
I mean, pretty much the people that I've signed up are people that I've known, you know,
Right.
not too many people from Facebook, honestly.
And I will say that too, like Scott doesn't like using Facebook very much. He doesn't like Facebook really at all anyways. And so like when he's working and out and about, that's how he shares Plexus.
Yeah, me too. Dana makes me post, but other than that, I don't like it either.
Okay, here's another one. How many times have you held meetings for your downline and had them not show?
Oh, none.
None? Nope. It's very important to, I think even with our teams, to call and invite them. I mean, here's the deal, and I say it all the time. We have got to stop depending on Facebook. End of story. We can't just post graphics on Facebook. Here's the deal. On my own personal team page, my team page, I miss half that goes on that team page. Unless I'm at a point in my day where I can literally sit there and scroll, I miss half of what goes on my own team page. So you can't depend on all your team members to see if you can't even see everything. And this is why I wanted them to do this, because I say this all the time, that communication is so hugely important. And our generation has lost the art of communicating with each other. And whether it be, you know, even taking it as a voice message on Facebook or a voice text rather than texting, that goes so far because people can hear your passion and your belief and your excitement. But Chris is right. Going to them and having them look you in the eye and saying that they're going to be there, I promise you, like if I tell somebody I'm going to be there, if somebody comes over here and says, will you do this for me? And I say yes, I'm not going to back out. If somebody like posts it on my page and invites me or does an invite and just expects me to see the invite and I'm going to come up with that, there's a good chance I'm going to back out. I mean, it is what it is. I haven't committed to them personally. And half the time I just ignore them. And the other thing with the whole invitation system on Facebook, you know, you get it sometimes, most of the times you get a notification when somebody's put you on an invitation and you never see it again unless you put you're going. And even sometimes when you put you're going, if they're not doing stuff constantly on that invitation, you'll never see it again. So in my mind, like I forget things all the time. So if somebody puts me an invitation and I look at it and I go, oh, I'll come back to that later, I'm not going to remember to go back to that. Same thing with Evite. Evite's the exact same way. A lot of Evites go to spam. A lot of times I'll pull up an Evite, you know, for kids' birthday parties or whatever on my phone and think, oh yeah, I'll get to that. And I never get to it and I forget about it. Totally forget about it. So guys, reaching out to people, communicating with them verbally, getting in front of them, you know, to ask them is absolutely huge and absolutely key. And I say it all the time. Another trick that we did one day when we were in New Mexico is they had a flyer to print out, and at the top, each ambassador had a place to put their name, and so the guests could bring that in, and if it had their name on the top, then the person in charge there was going to do a drawing to see how many people brought the most guests and do a prize for them. So it wasn't done at the meeting, but so there's so many different ways, but even with our teams, we have to be in verbal communication. We have to be, and we have to encourage them. And here's the deal. Not everybody's going to show up. They're not. But, you know, I always say, even if you have 4 or 5 people at a meeting, that's 4 or 5 people that need to be there. Whether it's an ambassador, whether it's a customer, that's 4 or 5 people that need to be encouraged, that need to be taught, that they are putting their foot forward, they are working hard, they are trying, they are making the effort, they believe in Plexus. I know South Dakota, Iowa, when I went, a lot of ambassadors were there, and but some of those ambassadors didn't really grasp Plexus. And now seeing them succeed, and because they know and they believe Plexus, like I love seeing that. And I love that, you know, they're adding ambassadors, and I see some of them on this call actually, and they're trying and they believe and they see. And sometimes it's new ambassadors that have never been anywhere because they just signed up to be wholesale and they've never been to a meeting. You know what? They're going to leave encouraged and excited and believe in Plexus and hear stories that they would have never, ever heard. So be discouraged if you do have some that are ambassadors, because if they're brand new, they are taking that step and they are excited and they are making the effort. And so, meetings can be huge, but I just really believe in everything that we do with Plexus. We have to stop depending on Facebook and social media. We have to. It did help us, and it does help us a lot. So don't ever not do it, because it is a great tool, but we have to stop hiding behind it. And once we learn that and stop hiding behind it, I promise your business is going to soar even more. So, Dana.
Beth, you saying that about Facebook. See, that's how I started my business. But now I don't post as much on Facebook. I am more one-on-one with people now too. But then the people that are, like in California or Ohio or somewhere like that, we talk private message, on Facebook or on the phone. The phone is really good. You really need to be talking to your ambassadors on the phone too, besides just messaging. But now I do my business more, talking to people instead of Facebook. I don't post as much. I mean, used to, I stayed on Facebook constantly. Chris would always tell me to get off the computer, but I would always stay on the computer, and now I'm not on the computer as much as what I used to be.
Yeah.
I do post occasionally.
Facebook has changed since we started, because it was very easy for us to do that at the beginning through Facebook.
Yes.
Everybody saw it, but now Facebook has changed all of its algorithms, and if you're not commenting on people's stuff, they're not seeing your stuff. I remember recently my aunt was like, I don't see anything you post on Facebook. And I thought personally she had unfriended me because she doesn't like Plexus. And so that's what I really thought. But she's like, I don't see anything. And I'm like, you're still my friend? And she's like, yeah. And it's just the algorithms. And so people are not seeing everything. People are not seeing everything that you post. People are not, if you post in the morning, like it's on a nighttime, then you're not going to see that post. And so yes, you use it as a tool, but then step away from it. So any other questions?
I got one more thing to add, Beth.
Okay.
I think a lot of people too are scared to have opportunity meetings themselves, because they think they've got to make some kind of big elaborate show and have 100 people there or whatever. But I think probably some of the most effective meetings that I've had personally are one or two or three people there.
Absolutely.
Just having lunch together and stuff. So don't feel like you have to have this huge meeting, spend a bunch of money, and know everything about everything. Just have a conversation with people.
I agree 1,000,000%. People see pictures of meetings that are done like here in Dallas, where there's a million, there's lots of Plexus people here. I am going to say, and I love those meetings. I love going to those meetings. I get encouraged from those meetings. I get fired up from those meetings. But I'm going to tell you what, I have a lot of success with smaller, more intimate, sip and sees, coffees, whatever you want to call it, happy hour at your house, make up a name. Because I want to tell you why. I sit on the fireplace. I don't have a PowerPoint. I'll bring my Plexus products and sit them there if I'm in town and I don't have to bring them all. Like if I fly sometimes and not everybody has to. And I just tell my story. And I talk about a couple of the products. I don't talk about all the products because it's personal. And people sit there with me and they go back and forth and we do life. And we make it personal. And people ask me questions. And I'm going to throw out there that I bet of those tendencies that I've had, and I've done tons of them with team members, it would be probably 95 to 97% success rate of people leaving, either customers or ambassadors. Because you're getting to know people. You're a real person. They can see you. They can ask you questions. And I've had some crazy people saying some crazy things to me. I remember one, I was like, I've never even heard that, but I will find out the answer for you. But I'm real. I'm not going to fake it. I'm just a real person, and I don't know all the answers. And I'm not a crunchy person, so I really don't know the crunchy answers. But people getting to know me and seeing that this crazy person that was so shy, that would have never in a million years gotten up and talked in front of anybody, is just doing life with them, whatever. Having a sandwich. You don't even have to have a sandwich. Having a glass of wine. You don't have to have a glass of wine. Just doing life. Make Plexus fold into your life. Do you have girls' night? Make it a girls' night. Fold it into your life. Be creative. It doesn't have to be these big meetings that you see. These big meetings are great, and I am not negating that whatsoever, but I'm telling you, get to know people personally. It may take you 10 more times to do those meetings than to have a big meeting. I promise it's so worth it. I promise you it's worth it. So, anything else? Anyone? Alrighty then, I'm going to stop recording.